The primary night now, all eyes on Ohio and the U.S. Senate race tonight as Sherrod Brown is trying to make a political comeback.
Yeah, taking on political newcomer Ronald Kincaid in the primary. It would be a major upset, to say the least, if it happened. WLWT News 5 anchor Chris Jacobs live in Cleveland right now with the U.S. Senate race on the left side of the aisle. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Mike, Cherie. Yeah, polls closing in less than 30 minutes now. We're at a brewery here in Cleveland where Sherrod Brown is expected to speak a little bit later tonight. He hasn't shown up just yet, but people are already starting to file into the brewery here. Of course, Sherrod Brown is the recognizable name here. He hasn't lost a primary in his 50-year political career, but lost that highly contested Senate race back in 2024 to Bernie Moreno. He's the household name, as you mentioned, Mike. He's the favorite. Brown is looking for that political comeback tonight. The 73-year-old says he feels he still has something left to offer Ohio. Now, his primary challenger is Ron Kincaid, a political newcomer. He says the last two Senate races in Ohio shows what the Democrats are doing just not working, and they need some new faces. We did sit down with him last night.
At a certain point, it seems like both parties want enemies. Where the Democrats have failed is when the Republicans have turned their constituents into enemies. We need to defend them, but we also have to listen to why our constituents are being turned into enemies.
Now, we did reach out to Brown's campaign, but he did say he wouldn't want to speak before the polls close tonight. Again, he is expected to speak on that stage right behind me, and we'll have that coverage for you as well. Reporting live in Cleveland, Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
All right, we will hear from Chris throughout the night there in Cleveland. Thank you so much.
And now to Columbus, where the other candidate, incumbent Senator Jon Husted, is trying to keep his seat previously held by Vice President J.D. Vance. Our WLWT News 5 anchor Ashley Kirkland has us covered there. Hi, Ash.
Hi, Cherie. Well, Husted was tapped by Governor DeWine to replace J.D. Vance. Today, he will fly by to November, and that's when the real test of his career will begin. Now, Husted has served Ohioans for decades now, first as a representative in the Dayton area, then lieutenant governor alongside Governor DeWine, and now in the U.S. Senate. And come November, his political future will be in the hands of voters who won't just be grading his personal resume, but also how he's voted alongside the president during a tumultuous second term. Husted has secured the endorsements of 75 of Ohio's 88 county sheriffs, but his presumed opponent, Sherrod Brown, has targeted Husted's track record in the Senate, where he has voted along party lines to push President Trump's agenda.
He's been a guy that's done the same old thing in Washington for years, almost 50 years in office for Sherrod Brown. Jon Husted is a fresh face in Washington representing Ohioans. He's going to offer the kind of vision that we know will carry Ohio into the future successfully and support the president's agenda, and an agenda that's working for the American people.
Now, Husted has said in a statement that he is working on a common sense agenda that lowers costs, secures the border, and cuts taxes on tips and also overtime, and supports law enforcement and puts Ohio first. Live here in Columbus, Ashley Kirkland, WLWT News 5.
Ashley, thanks so much. So that is the U.S. Senate race here in Ohio. The other big race that we're going to be watching, especially come November, is the governor's race. The winner of the Republican primary for governor will face off Dr. Amy Acton, the Democrat, in November.
She's got no opponent. Yeah, Ohio's former health director running unopposed in her party's primary. And WLWT News 5's Aaron Thomas joining us in Columbus, where they're still going to get a message out regardless. Hi there.
Hey, what's going on, Mike and Cherie? So, the doors to this event just opened up just within the past few minutes or so, and dozens of people are starting to trickle into this space to show their support for Amy Acton as well as other Democratic candidates hoping to fill those key positions. You both said it best that this governor's race has been a closely watched one and is turning out to be a competitive showdown between Acton and the presumed Republican candidate for governor, Vivek Ramaswamy. Some background about Dr. Acton. She was previously the former state health director during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and faced some criticism for steep restrictions in 2020. On the flip side, she's made healthcare part of her agenda, placing an emphasis on lowering costs and reducing billions of dollars in medical debt. Now, a crowd of supporters for Acton, they're starting to arrive, including Jim Burton, who we ran into. He's from the Cleveland area. He shared with us the issues that matter to him and why he believes Acton is the ideal candidate.
I think public education, that might be the biggest one. I think she'll save the public schools. Her opponent wants to destroy them. I don't think that's a good thing for Ohio.
And back here live, we have yet to see an appearance from Acton, but she is expected to give remarks once the polls close. She'll be speaking behind us. We have seen her running mate for lieutenant governor, and that is David Pepper. Another noteworthy stat is that this state has not had a Democratic governor in about 15 years, and Acton's team is hoping to stop that streak come November. Reporting live in Columbus, Aaron Thomas, WOWT News 5.
All right, Aaron. David Pepper, also a political juggernaut here in Ohio. Thank you so much.
And, you know, with confidence heading into today, Republican gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy says that his focus is on what comes next, the general election. WLWT News 5's Karen Johnson live for us in Columbus tonight at the GOP watch party with more. Hi, Karen.
Hey, Sheree. Yeah, you have a pretty energetic crowd here at this GOP watch party in downtown Columbus. Folks here waiting for Ramaswamy to arrive, and I'm told he should be here in about half an hour. Now, Ramaswamy says he has spent the last several months visiting folks in all 88 Ohio counties. The Cincinnati native says the message that's been resonating with voters: lower costs, better pay, and stronger schools. In the coming months, he says he plans to go to places where traditional Republicans don't usually go, including the inner city of Cincinnati.
Because I believe that my message of bringing law and order to our cities, to fighting and crushing crime in places like downtown Cincinnati, that's what people want regardless of whether they're black, white, red, or blue. And I'm convinced that in the next 6 months, Ohioans are going to hear that loud and clear from us.
And you can see it right on the signs: lower costs, bigger paychecks for Ohio. That is something he has been touting. He also says he wants to bring back the culture of mutual respect, even when political views differ. Reporting live in downtown Columbus tonight, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
All right.